What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew First Culture podcast. My name is Jeremy. And as always, thank you very, very much for spending some time with me today. I really, really appreciate it, especially since the regularity that we used to have is gone by by no stretch of the imagination. We have definitely been kind of here and there and hit and miss, but I will say that I do. It makes me appreciate those that are listening and that take the time to tune in even more. It has been a crazy, crazy couple months. At the firehouse, it's been super busy. Just things going on nonstop. At home, even worse. It's summer, so we have a good size property, and so the landscaping and yard work situation is full blown, obviously. So that has been pretty heavy. Lots of just life situations coming up here and there, and different events and family things, and just it just seems like there's always something. So to for me to take time to kind of out of the day and to sit down somewhere where I could actually record something, it's just been pretty few and far between. So thank you for your patience, like I have said the last couple times. And today, I just got home from the firehouse a little bit ago and took care of the kids and just excited for. And I've got a kitten here that is bound and determined to take over the show. So uh, excited for life, excited for everything, and especially excited to be a firefighter. And so the last couple months have been truly amazing. And really, that's across the board. And if I stretch that out into home life, there have been some situations that I would definitely not say amazing. We've had some tough times at home that we've had to work through, but we've also had some really awesome times at home that are very special. And so it's been great at work and just in the fire service wise. It's truly been undescribable. Just the past couple months, how they've affected my life. About 2.5 months. So to start that stretch in May, and I know I've talked a lot about some of these things, and I'm not gonna to go into a lot of detail as far as trying to rehash things that I've already talked about. But in May, my wife and I had the amazing opportunity to go down to Pensacola for the Command Officer Boot Camp Conference, which was great. It was a great time. Got to meet some people that I've been virtual friends with for quite a while, and it was just awesome. Awesome to finally have conversations face to face with people that you've been talking to and learning from, and being, I'll do the air quotes, virtually mentored by these people for over a year, and to finally meet them face to face, it was special. It was a really cool time. Had some great presentations by some great people that I literally would consider myself mentored by, even though I'd never met them till then. And so, you know, that was during the day. Once class was over, had some really great special time, just walks on the beach and just time with my wife and I, which we haven't had in a long time. So it was a great, great opportunity for us to get away. She is more than happy to just sit on the beach and read a book by herself and enjoy a drink here and there by herself and just enjoy that quiet time. So, when I was in class, she got a great opportunity to do that and kind of recharge herself that way. And so all around, it was really great. I really enjoyed it. It came at a time, like I've said over, some of the podcasts, it came at a time that I really needed it. I needed to be recharged fire service wise. I needed recharged in every way at that time, but fire service wise, it was a critical time for me. I was struggling. I was really having a hard time kind of just getting through some things. And that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what I got. And so it was great. The end of June came around and I had my first ever opportunity to give a presentation and speak at a conference, speak anywhere, to be honest. I have never been a public speaker. I have absolutely been on the opposite end of that spectrum. I have had a fear of public speaking my entire life. And so me being where I'm at right now is it's truly I would almost say unbelievable for me looking at myself and who I am and the things that I'm doing compared to that person even just a couple years ago. But especially, 5, 10, 15 years ago, it's incredible. I can't even explain the difference in that person back then, in any of those stages and the person right now. And what's even more exciting for me is I'm not happy where I'm at. I'm not stopping here. I am looking forward every day to, what other doors are opening. So as everything I speak on, just trying to continue to look for that daily continual growth. But anyway, very thankful for my friend, Chief Corley Moore of Firehouse Vigilance, who put on the Honor of the Fallen Fire Conference in Moore, Oklahoma at the end of June, for giving me a chance. Somebody that has never done that. Somebody that honestly didn't even have anything prepared to do that. And so he saw something in me, just knowing my message, knowing who I am, wanted to give me that chance, offered me a spot in his uh lecture series, whatever you want to call it, offered me a spot in a couple, or he had two speaker days, two presentation days, and had a spot for me in those, and I more than happily accepted, and was obviously nervous, doing something new, doing something that you feared all your life. But it was a message that just like any other message I've shared on this podcast, or any other message I've shared on other people's podcasts that they've had me on, or the Instagram post or whatever. It's things that I feel inside. It's things that I truly care about. It's things that I feel are very important and that I feel like I have a message to share. And so it wasn't like it was just something that, I had to really study and go through the material and make sure I was solid at it. Obviously I wanted to do good at the presentation, but luckily for me, it was just things that came out. It just came out, and hopefully those that were there, had something to that could add a little value to the life. For me, it was a great experience. I never would have imagined at the end of it how much I enjoyed it. I would have never imagined at the end of it how much I look forward to the next time I was going to do it. It's just crazy. But it felt good. Obviously it was my very first attempt at speaking in front of, a crowd, and there were, I don't know, it was a big auditorium and everybody was spread out pretty good. Word on the street is there was around 80 people. 80 people in a big auditorium is a pretty dang big audience for your very first time to ever speak. So it was a little overwhelming. I kind of had a game plan with my presentation. I had some notes set up for every slide so I can kind of glance at it here and there and help me key in on things I wanted to say. And as soon as I saw the auditorium in person, I kind of had an oh crap moment because the stage was completely empty. There was nowhere to put anything. Everything that you needed, your laptop or whatever you're using, was plugged in way up in the audience area. So I had no access to my PowerPoint. And so I spent the first couple of hours, listening to some of the other presenters and simultaneously stressing out about how I'm going to kind of handle this. And so I spent the lunch break adding a few slides in just to kind of give me a little bit more reminders of kind of where I was going, just so I didn't forget. And I definitely forgot a lot of what I was going to say. Some points that I had planned on bringing up the whole time didn't get addressed, didn't get brought up. But I had an hour and a half, a lot of time, and I ran right up to that and felt good with the material that I gave and the message I shared. And so I don't have any complaints about that. I was proud of how it went, had some good feedback, and I just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed doing it. That night was a special night again because I got to really talk with some people, and I know I had an episode about this. Some conversations that really impacted me, and it was just great to be with like-minded brothers and sisters that cared, that give a crap about the job. It's funny how you don't notice how much you miss that if you don't have it. And I'm not saying I don't have it at my house. I am very, very lucky right now, and I'll get more into that later. But to be surrounded by people that want to be there, that spent their own money to be there, that took their time off to be there, away from their family, you're obviously wanting to do good things. You're obviously wanting to be better. You're obviously wanting to learn so that you can make others better if you're doing that. And so being surrounded by people like that was amazing. It was great. So fast forward a couple weeks, and we just got back from the Revolutionary Fire Tactics on the Lake conference in Missouri, Lake Ozark, put on by David Woodward. He does that Facebook page, the Revolutionary Facebook page, and also has another page that he runs called One Warrior. So again, I thank Corley very much for giving me that opportunity. But truly, I should thank David maybe even a little bit more, because David had me scheduled for my first time back last year. The Honor of the Fallen Fire Conference was a short notice conference put up. Corley did an amazing job, especially on short notice, of putting it all together, and man, it was great. But I had already been planned to do the Revolutionary Conference, and so that was going to originally be my first one. And so for David, who I never had met, I had met Corley. I've had somewhat of a relationship with Corley, and so there's a little bit there. David, I have never met. I've never talked to, and so for him to give me a chance at his conference was I can't thank him enough. And there's a lot more to that story. And the other side of that story is my really, really good friend. I can't say it enough. My driver, who I know that I will be losing someday soon. And my mentor, Justin Mann, had a big piece of that. And that's, I hope you don't feel like I'm rambling along, but there are nuggets through what I'm saying right now, and I hope you're kind of picking them out as we go. But Justin has a great knack of mentoring people, challenging people, bringing the best out of people without them even knowing it, without them feeling challenged by it, without them feeling, like they need to be kind of put up a wall and be defensive about, oh, this guy is a hard charger. He's coming at me. He's going to want me to do, blah, blah, blah. And, those type of people turn off a lot of people. They turn away a lot of people that need to be helped because they're so kind of in your face. And that's just the way some people are. And honestly, there are quite a few people that need that. They need that in your face, challenge them, get in your business to snap you out of whatever funk you're in. But Justin has an amazing way of doing that without you even knowing it. And I know I brought his name up a lot, but the impact he's had on my life, the impact he's had on the other crew members of mine's life and career, and honestly, people in my department and all across the nation, he is either taught or assisted in conferences all over. And so there's no telling how many lives he's touched. But anyway, I've never spoken a word about wanting to present or speak in front of people. I've never said a word about wanting to do anything at conferences, verbally wise. I've kind of helped him a few times with some hot classes, but speaking wise. But somehow he knew that that's what I needed to do. He knew that that's a step or a process that I needed to involve myself in. And so last year, when the bids were going in for this year's conference at the lake, he called me up and was like, hey, they're about to close the process on classes, putting in bids for classes. What do you think about doing a class with me and kind of going over engine stuff and, blah, blah, blah. And we had a conversation about it. And right there, that tells you something. It tells you that he knows me very well, because if he would have came out right away and said, hey, you need to put a class on, you need to go speak at this conference, come up with a game plan on what class you want to take and, write something up and submit it just to see what happens. I have a feeling, and I've never talked to him about this, but I have a feeling that he knew if that's the approach he took, I wouldn't have done it. And that is probably 100% the truth. First of all, I wouldn't have known anything about that process. I didn't know how all of it worked. So what he did was he stepped up. He saw it as a chance to maybe ease me into that process. And when I said, sure, it sounds like something I would enjoy doing, because, doing it with him sounded fun. He took that process and he did the paperwork stuff and took care of that so that it was done and so that he knew it was done. And he had a working relationship with David Woodward. And so I'm sure that helped some too. David truly trusts him and has seen what kind of a person, what kind of instructor he is. So I'm sure that helped a lot. I'm not trying to put all this on me, but it's an important piece of this story, because it truly shows you how much you can impact somebody. But it's not that easy. It's, I always preach, you got to share your message. You got to share your story and just give what you got. And I truly believe in that. I'm not going back on that, but it's not that easy. It's so much more than that. Because if I share my message the same way with 100 people, and then I share my message the same way the same words with another 100 people, I might reach, I don't know, throwing out a made believe number. I might reach 20 people in that first group, but I might only reach 10 people the next group because, different people need to be spoken to different ways. Different messages speak to different people in ways that are more deeply impactful than others. Something I've said a few times, you have all these gigantic names in leadership, people that have sold millions and millions of books. The Mount Rushmore of leadership, personalities. But there's still some people that those people don't reach. And so, weird enough, the people that they don't reach are they're probably getting spoken to by less known names. I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, so I apologize for that. But those people that aren't being kind of inspired by the big names, there's probably somebody out there that is inspiring them. And it might be somebody that is not very well known. It might be somebody that nobody knows about. It might be somebody that they have a personal relationship with and have had a personal relationship with. But that's the person that they get. That's the person that gets them and knows how to reach them. And so that's kind of my point is, he took that relationship with me, knowing who I am, knowing probably my boundaries of what I was comfortable with and what I wasn't, and turned that into a way of assisting me in taking a huge leap in the next part of my journey. And I cannot thank him enough. I I I can't, because like I said, I've really enjoyed it, and I feel like this is something I want to do more of. I want to have that ability to get up there and share the passion and the message that I feel like I've truly been given. This is not me, just speaking from the heart. This is something that I have been given. This is something that I have gained through the experience of my life. And so anyway, getting back to the story of it, we really haven't touched that presentation in months. Luckily we kind of hit it really hard at the end of last year and in January this year, and pretty much knocked the PowerPoint out. But he then started getting involved in a promotion process that is very, very hard to pass as far as the written test of it. The written test is the first part, and the last few tests have just been, seems like it leans more and more and more into, you have to know the material word for word. And it is a lot of material. And so obviously he had to dedicate a lot of his time to that book studying. And so, I'm not going to sit there and tell him to take time away from that is going to, make a dramatic change, plus or minus, on his life, his family, his career. And so, we just kind of took a step back, and that step lasted literally up to the day we left. He took the written test the morning that we left for Missouri. And like I told everybody in class the next day, he passed it. So congratulations there. But so half of the trip to Missouri was spent me and him in the back of a pickup going through the PowerPoint. But again, going back to my presentation in Oklahoma, it wasn't that big of a deal, because it was stuff that it was just stuff that we have experienced. It was things that we truly care about, and that we have a passion for. And so, did we really need to memorize the material and really kind of figure out how everything was going to go and everything we needed to point out? No. we just needed to kind of figure out how each of us fit into that presentation. Who's got what, who kind of has something to bounce off of this slide, and how are we going to navigate through the class. That was really the biggest thing that we did. Cleaned up a couple slides, took out some stuff that didn't need to be in there, and to be honest, that was it. I think we probably spent 2 hours at the most going there, and then we kind of headed back to our condo during lunch right before we gave it. Went over it maybe another 45 minutes just to freshen up on some points that we really wanted to make and make sure we didn't forget, and gave it. And I could not do that with a presentation that I was not comfortable with. I could not do that with something that was out of my lane, I'll just say. And so that it really shows me the importance of that, staying in your lane. I've always said, you're not going to see me, at least right now. Who knows what the 5 year from now or the 10 year from now, Jeremy, looks like. But right now, you're not going to see me speaking out on tactics and, really anything like that. It's not me. Does that mean I'm not comfortable in my experience and abilities? Absolutely not. I'm very confident, very comfortable in my abilities and in my crew's abilities and in our ability to handle things. But that is not something that I have been given a message for. That is not something I have been, I feel a push towards right now. And so I'm not doing it. And hopefully that kind of validates who I am and the message that I do share, because it is important to me to do it right. Just like these podcasts, just like the break I've taken from the podcast. Yes, some of it is due to time, just not having the time, and other priorities take, a higher seat. But a lot of that, especially at first during that break, was because I had lost the words. I had lost the message. And I was not going to get up here and just talk so that I can say, hey, kept my string of episodes going. I'm at 120 right now because I haven't missed a week. Well, I'm not at 120 right now because I missed a lot of weeks, because I'm not going to just talk to hear myself talk and to put out material. And I hope, again, like I've said in the past, I hope that you all out there see that and you all kind of respect that, because, am I anything special? No, I'm not trying to say I am. Not even close. I am, like the saying goes, a nobody from nowhere. And I love that statement, but I love to add something on top of that. I am a nobody from nowhere, absolutely. But I'm a nobody from nowhere that is going to do something about it. I am doing something because I want things to change. I want myself to change. I want my crew to change. I want my family to change. I want the fire service to change for the better. And so this nobody from nowhere is going to be somebody that makes a difference or tries their very best to make that difference. And so I just like to add that in, just because, yeah, we all are. We are all probably should consider ourselves nobodies from nowhere. But those people preaching the good word, those people taking care of their family, those people taking care of their crew, those people stepping up and being the senior leader that they should, those people spending their own money and own time to go to conferences and classes to better themselves. Those are the people that are making a difference. And I don't care who you are or where you came from. If that's who you are, then you are making a difference. And that's all that counts. I don't care if you have the biggest name in the fire service, that you come from the biggest fire department in the fire service, that you fight all the fires. If you aren't doing anything to better yourself, if you're not doing anything to better the fire service or your family or your crew or those around you in any way, it means nothing to me. I don't care. I don't care. I have no, I just, you hear being starstruck. And, that's something that I've kind of thought about here the past couple days, because I've met some pretty big names. And I'm not going to sit here and, name drop, because I've just met these people. It's not like I've got a deep bedded friendship with them, or it's not like I've earned anything from them. I just met them. Luckily enough for me, these people are amazing people. These people are humble and truly just love the fire service and others that love the fire service. And so I've kind of started a little bit of friendship with some of them. But, that's all I care about. Those are the people that I look at, and I just want to sit there and I just want to soak up what they have to say. I just want to sit there and listen to the lessons that they're talking about. That's probably the extent of my starstruck. If you give me a big name that has been to every conference and spoken to hundreds of thousands of people and charges tens of thousands of dollars to speak, but they're in that category I talked about earlier, that they're not doing anything, they're not helping anybody, I don't have time for it. I have nothing for you. You mean nothing more than any other person that isn't doing anything for anybody. So to me, I get starstruck when I see people that I know are making a difference, that I know have spoken across the nation, sharing great messages, excuse me, that I know are humble enough and generous enough of their time to not only speak at conferences or not only spend all day instructing at conferences, but they'll spend the nights walking around and talking with people that were in the classes, getting feedback, answering questions from people that they've never met before, may never meet again. Those are the people that truly inspire me and that I am starstruck over, if you want to call it that. Not exactly the same, I would say, but that's what truly means something to me. That's the person that, if I have the ability to kind of get there someday, that I want to be. And it's not easy. I promise you, those people, they want to spend that time with friends and, enjoying that time with their true friends. And so for them to take time to talk to you or others that they don't know, it's truly a blessing. And I hope that if you're lucky enough to have conversations with people like that, that you see it that way, that you see that they took time out of their night, their day, whatever, that they could be spending with friends or people that they know, but they took the time to talk to you, answer your questions, connect with you. That's truly amazing. That is the next level instructor, mentor, whatever you want to call it, right there. And that's who I am now kind of looking up to get there. So anyway, Justin and I gave our lecture, our presentation, whatever you want to call it. This one was 2 hours, so a little bit longer, but I had a buddy there to kind of bounce things off of, so I wasn't speaking the whole time. But again, after it was over, it just felt great. It felt it felt like this is something I need to be doing. And again, it was only my second time to do it, so I know I need a lot of polishing. I know there are a lot of areas that I need to be better at and to work on. I get it. I'm not saying it was perfect. I'm not saying that I was the best instructor there, but I am saying that I enjoyed it. I am saying that it felt amazing to do it. I think we had 50, 53 or so that were signed up for the class, and shoot, we brought quite a few just with us that came and sat in and listened that weren't even enrolled. So who knows? I don't know, but a good amount of people. And so it was great. It felt great to share that message. It felt great to share that message with a friend and to really just bounce things back and forth. I am looking through a formal leader kind of perspective. He's looking through the lenses of an informal leader's perspective. And so, it was really good to just kind of hit different areas from different points of view. And so anyway, again, had some good feedback from that, and I just I just feel overwhelmed with excitement for the job. And we had some great nights sitting down and connecting a deeper level with some of these people that I've truly looked up to for a while. We had two hot days on Saturday and Sunday that we were lucky enough to be involved in. I got to shadow Steve Robertson of Stretching for Success, and just I just went into it, and this is another kind of story that hopefully you can learn from, because I learned from. I just went into it thinking, okay, I'm gonna be building bundles all day. Hopefully I can kind of absorb a little bit of knowledge from them here and there, but really I'm just there as a laborer. And I was okay with that. Shoot, I was more than happy with that because I knew I was going to learn something either way. So he goes through his presentation twice. I am lucky enough to sit right there and listen to the whole thing and really absorb it. And I'm glad I absorbed it, because in between that second and third round, he handed me the reins of the first kind of part of that, of his spiel. I don't know how else to say it. And I looked at him like, are you kidding me? I mean, I have met this person twice. I basically just said hi the first time. The second time was the couple nights before, when we actually had a little bit of a conversation. But this guy didn't know me from anybody, without, besides just a few words a couple nights before. And not only didn't know me and handed it to me, but this is his thing. This is something that he spent an untold amount of hours, him and his crew, working these things out to where they actually worked, trying to figure out what was failing so that they could make it happen, and then created a class from it. And so he's got a lot invested in it. I mean, trust me, I understand. I mean, I don't understand to that level, but I understand if you have something that you truly have invested that much in, you want to protect it and take care of it. So when he said that, I was like, seriously? And I mean, he's like, yeah, I mean, you've listened to it a couple times, you know what I have to say, make it your own, basically, is what he said. And it's not like I was reluctant to do it, but I was just very surprised at the position I was in. And so I did it, and obviously did not do it to his level, but I felt like I, did a pretty good job. He shared that I did a pretty good job, and through the day, he kind of let me take more and more of that. And he would kind of say, "Hey, I need to go. So and so, you got it?" And I was like, "Yeah," and I'd take over. And this is another example. I bring it up to show the example that a true mentor just finds ways to do it. So the example I told of Justin knew me. He knew what was going to reach me, what was going to help me, what I needed. Steve didn't. Steve didn't know me at all. He just took a chance of saying, "Here it is. You want it?" And I wasn't going to pass that up. Absolutely was not going to pass that up. And so that right there shows you a mentor is always looking for opportunities to empower, is always looking for opportunities to teach, always looking for opportunities to put people in a position to succeed. And so it was a truly humbling experience for me. I mean, from a very humbling experience, a very very awesome experience as well. This is somebody that is known nationally, that has a great program, that is one of the best in the nation. And he just basically handed it to me to help him out and to kind of take over for the day and share that with others. And it was just a great honor. And I learned so much from that day. So much just from the mindset of engine work, just kind of learning his techniques and his ways of doing things, but also as a leader, as a mentor. I learned so much from just how he handled that. And so want to, add him to that list of people that I'm thanking right now. You know, like I said, this past 2.5 months has been a tremendous period of growth for me. And it's only because I have had great people invest in me. Really the only thing I did during that time was just be okay with not being comfortable. And that's a big deal. I'm not going to downplay that. That's a big deal. To me, it's a big deal because, I've always been somebody that doesn't like discomfort. Always been somebody that doesn't like to kind of step outside of the norm. And there are a lot of people out there that are like that. A lot of people. This fire service that is so-called, full of the type A personalities, the go-getters and the rah, whatever, hard chargers. Funny enough, it's full of people that are scared to fail. It's full of people that are scared to step outside of that comfort zone and get uncomfortable. And luckily enough for me, I have taken advantage of some chances, some opportunities lately that pushed me out of that comfort zone. Luckily, I didn't shy away from those because it would have been a very sad loss of some great opportunities if I didn't. And so that's the next step of this message I want to share today is you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You've got to keep your eyes open and look for these open doors. You've got to just be open to whatever is coming your way. Because I promise you, your story is not going to progress to the levels that it should if you're only opening the doors and going through the doors that you're comfortable going through. It's not going to happen. Yeah, you might have a comfortable life, a good life, not saying that. But are you going to truly reach your full potential? Are you going to truly reach the numbers of people and help the amount of people become the level of leader at work and home that you can be? Are any of those things ever going to happen if you don't step through those doors, step out of your box, step into that discomfort? Keep your eyes open for these situations and these opportunities to truly stretch who you are. You're not. You're not going to grow. You're not going to make as much of a difference until you become okay with being uncomfortable. Don't miss any opportunities. Do not miss the chance to step outside of your comfort zone and do something that can lead to great things. Don't miss that chance because it might not ever come again. You have to grab a hold of these chances, these opportunities. Don't waste the energy and the time that people are putting into you as well. Well, these mentors, these instructors, these people that truly care about the fire service and making others better, don't waste their time and their energy and their love and passion. Take advantage of that any chance you get. So, I don't know what else I have to share today. I wanted to share that. Actually, I spoke too soon. I do know what I want to share today, and it's really kind of why I'm sitting here. So that was last weekend. I'm sitting here now. It's Wednesday. Just got off shift. I can't remember if I said that already or not. Got off shift this morning. On Tuesday, it was my first day back after the lake, and now I have 4 days off, and I'm in that kind of that limbo of, yeah, I'm glad I'm home for 4 days. And don't get me wrong, I'm very glad I'm home for 4 days. But I also, at the same time, I don't want to be gone from work for 4 days because I just enjoy it so much. Yesterday, got on shift. The shift before us had a fire. We took 2 days off for the conference, and so it's been a while since I've been on. So not only was there a fire the night before, but there was also a rig swap in that time, which for us, rig swaps are always dicey. You just never know. If you aren't the ones doing it, you never know what the heck is going to be there in the morning when you show up. And so those two things are big events as far as things could be great or everything on the trip could be screwed up. And it didn't take long for us to see that there were a lot of things that required attention. And part of the culture that I have been wanting and striving and trying to create is a culture that we just do it. If there's something that needs to be done, we just do it. That's kind of part of our mission statement. And so that being said, if it's something that the last crew didn't do that they should have, okay, whatever. We can harass them a little bit about it. We can joke a little bit about it. But you know what? We're going to do it. We're just going to do it. But the best thing about that is that we can do it and do it right. And we can have control of that. And so anyway, the hose was a mess. I'll just say that. I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. It wasn't even, I guess, as the story goes, it wasn't even the crew at our station that did it. Others rebuilt it. But basically every bundle on the truck, every pre-connect on the truck was not okay, at least by our standards. So, there were a few that we rebuilt right away just because they were really bad. So we spent, the first 30, 40 minutes of our shift fixing problems that we didn't create. And that's okay. I don't care, because when we need to pull them, we want them right. When we open that door, we want them to look good. We want to have pride in those loads. And so we're just going to do it. At least that's the culture that I've tried over the years to create. And in the past, it's not been there. In the past, I have been, had to constantly kind of push that, constantly nudge them towards that. But I will tell you right now, yesterday, before I even had to say anything, before I even really thought to myself, well, I know what we're going to be doing, the bundles were off. Bundles were on the ground and getting rebuilt before I had anything to do with it. And it made me so proud. It made me so proud to see the work that we are putting into this finally starting to pay off. So we rebuilt a few there. We took the rest of them and took them around our district and pulled some lines and kind of cleaned them up right there after we did that. So, we used it as a great opportunity in several ways. We used it as an opportunity to just take responsibility of our stuff. It doesn't matter who loaded that hose. I am the one that's going to be pulling it today. So do I want to leave whatever mess was there, or do I want to do it in a way that I know it's going to pull perfectly? I know that it looks like I know what the heck I'm doing. I know that it looks like we take pride in our truck, in our rig, in our equipment. That's what I want to create, and that's what we have. That's what they started to do by themselves. And I was just very proud of the fact that really, yeah, we threw out a couple, joking jabs at how it was done. But that was it. We didn't spend an hour griping because they didn't do this or they didn't do that or they did this wrong and we're having to redo it even though we shouldn't. Not a word was said about it. And that makes me truly proud to be a part of that crew, because that is the crew that I have always wanted to be a part of. And so, it's a good day. We ran a lot of calls, woke up several times at night, didn't get much sleep. So, still lots of opportunities to gripe, but nothing. Yeah, there's some grumbling when you got to wake up at 2 in the morning and 4 in the morning. But that's it. It was over. We dealt with what needed to be dealt with, and that's it. And so, again, back to my list of growing people that I wanted to thank. I thank my guys. I say guys because that's all I have. I thank my guys so much for buying in to the culture that I'm trying to sell, for buying into the mission that I'm trying to sell them, and truly put the effort into helping me create that mission, create that vision, create that culture, and just enjoy being a firefighter. Because when you are doing these things, I promise you, you're going to enjoy the job so much more. For me, I have had the ups and downs. I've had the roller coaster. I've lived a life of a kind of a burned out firefighter, or a firefighter that just was beat down, or whatever you want to, however you want to look at it. I didn't enjoy my job then. It was the same job, the same department. I am the same person, but I didn't enjoy it then because I wasn't doing anything to make it better. Now I am searching and seeking, pursuing that growth, intentionally trying to make myself and others around me better. And I have never enjoyed this job more than I do right now. And so that is a lesson that I want to share. So hopefully others can learn from it. If you're not enjoying this job very much and you're also not really putting anything into it, you need to put something into it. You need to invest yourself into this job, and you will start to enjoy it more. I promise you. Are we the perfect crew? Are we all stars, studs? No, absolutely not. But we love the job. We love each other. We love serving our citizens. We love growing together, and we have a good time every day. And I cannot ask for anything more than that. I only hope that everybody out there can gain some of this. And so now that I see what it's like, now that I feel what it's like to be on a crew like this, to enjoy a day in and day out like this, I am going to fight tooth and nail, clawing and screaming to maintain it because I do not want to lose this. So anyway, I think that's about it. I think that's about all the rambling I'm gonna, put you all through. If you're still listening, I appreciate it. I I don't know. I hope this wasn't just a bunch of nonsense rambling. I feel like there's so many lessons to learn in that short story that I just gave. So many lessons that I have learned. And so I hope that something can be brought out of it for you. But I thank you again for your time. Thank you so much. I look forward to each and every one of these chances. I hope to maybe get some guests on again here and there pretty soon because I miss that kind of that connection with other people. And so hopefully try to pull a few of those together before too long and just look forward to the next step in the evolution. Look forward to whatever growth is coming because I know it is. I'm not here for myself. I've been put here for a purpose and I cannot wait to see what the next stage of that is. And so, everybody out there, this isn't just a story for me. This is a story for you. You are here for a reason. You just got to look inside and figure out what that is if you don't know yet. Find it. Find what that reason is. Find what that message is. Figure out what of your story needs to be shared and get to work and doing it. So I will leave you with that. Hope you all have a great week. Great, however long it is before I see you all again. Just to mention real quick, if you aren't on Clubhouse, if you have not joined us on Friday mornings on the Clubhouse app, please look into that. We have a good time. We have some great conversation with some great people, just like I've talked about today, that truly care about making others better and making the fire service better. So look that up. It's called the Clubhouse app. It's a social media platform that is basically just kind of speaking. So it's almost like a live podcast that anybody can be involved in. And so look that up. If you are confused on it, send me a message either on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll kind of help you out, get you there. But if not, I will see you next time. And as always, stay humble and do work.